Hey, what's happening, gamers? Welcome back to the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles on KwingsLetsPlays, brought to you by our friends over at Capcom, who provided a copy for review, walkthrough, and live streaming purposes. So yesterday we started the investigation of the Crystal Tower. Today that will resume, exploring where the incident happened, and trying to figure out if this teleportation device actually worked or not. There's also a Ultimate Select stream for Ruga today, happening at around 7 o'clock for Fire Emblem Lin Senpai. And then Marvel Ultimate, or whatever it's called, Marvel Future Revolution will be around 9 o'clock, and then Xenoblade around 11. At least that's the plan. So, without further ado, it's time to continue more of the Great Ace Attorney Adventures, number 2, Resolve.
Yeah, don't forget also, thanks so much to Capcom for providing a copy of this game. You're breathtaking, Capcom.
I already said that.
Oh, and don't forget our newsletter, guys.
Yes, our newsletter, KwingsLetsPlays.com, tells you about all the happenings on the channel every single day.
And all, some of you guys say you haven't been here in a while. There's been a lot of people unsubscribed from our channel.
Yes, we had over 500 people randomly unsub.
Yeah, YouTube is basically going and they're not even supposed to be doing this because they're just unsubbing people, so please check and make sure you're subscribed. And
they're plucking members too, so you gotta double check that, which is fun. But anyway, October 22nd, the Great Exhibition Grounds Experimentation Stage.
Ooh.
So that's it, isn't it? The machine that blew up.
Oh, it must have been a magnificent explosion, and I've seen my fair share.
Oh noes. You've seen things like this before, you mean?
Of course. Harley's always doing experiments that end in a bang.
Oh, okay.
In fact, in his own words, explosions are the very essence of chemistry.
Well, I mean, he's not wrong, but... Ah, that might explain the smell of burning that frequently comes up with the stairs.
One time, he made something that exploded with such force, it took the roof off the building. I wish you'd been there to see it, Ryuno.
It's hard to get excited about that type of explosion, given that I now live in the roof. Oh my gosh.
Anyway, that's enough about that. It's time to investigate.
Okay. Ah, there's Gregson. Oh look, Inspector Gregson is over there. He seems to be deep in thought about something, whilst eyeing up the machine carefully, that is.
Really? He just looks confused to me.
Harsh. Okay, so I just need to adjust the audio.
Yeah, if you guys missed a lot of episodes, you guys can definitely rewatch them and catch up. If you guys are just coming in after not seeing a lot of episodes, we are at the 1851 Great Exhibition that was held in London in 1851, and it went for about 5 to 6 months, and then it moved to Paris, and it showed all kinds of inventions, artwork, and different kinds of goods on display and things like that in London.
Yep. Alright, let's see if we can explore this mess up here.
Great to see you guys. Totally Spies, Billy, and thank you SA Spurs for putting that the newsletter in the link. I'll have to pin that if I get a chance. Great to see you, OH and Candle in the Dark and Judd and everyone.
Okay. It ripped itself apart magnificently, didn't it?
Magnificently and mercilessly.
So someone stands in the middle of the machine to be disassembled and then beamed through the air, right?
Yes, beamed. Not blasted. That's the whole point.
Yeah, that's the crucial stuff, really. Okay. Is something like that even possible, though, Iris?
Oh, Ryuno, I'm just a child. How should I know?
A child when it suits you, you mean?
From what I can tell, I think if you...
Stop! Don't touch anything!
Huh?
Uh-oh.
That was practically instantaneous kinesis the way you flew over here just now, Grigsy.
Please, your ladyship, I didn't mean to startle you, but I can't let you touch anything up here.
So sorry. You can have some of my latest special blend to make up for it.
Glug, glug, glug. Drink
He's
tea
drinking
while
the
it's
tea.
hot.
Yep.
Drink tea while it's hot.
Ah, wonderful. This stuff really is wonderful, your ladyship. It's just like old times, this is. Alright. So we can't investigate. We have to talk to Gregson. We're representing Professor Hairbrain in court tomorrow, Inspector. So we'd like to be allowed to examine the scene. Listen, Sunshine, even I'm not allowed to touch anything up here. It's that blasted special dispensation of scientific equipment to blame. It's driving me potty. What? Oh yes, that special dispensation unit. I've heard all about them. The professor mentioned that too. More red tape, all we need? I don't know what the government thinks it's playing at sometimes.
What? We're allowed to just look, aren't we, Grigsy? Surely that's alright, isn't it?
Of course, your ladyship. Anything you say, your ladyship, but please get your dainty hands. Don't get your dainty hands dirty.
Don't worry. We wouldn't dream of touching anything, Grigsy, would we, Bruno?
She really knows how to get what she wants, huh?
Yeah, and she's only 11.
Yup,
That's scary.
it is.
Imagine she'll be like a powerful, like, I don't know what to say. She's just able to like hypnotize him somehow.
She's not even using... She doesn't have her feminine wiles yet. Imagine once
I
she's,
know.
like, of age and stuff like that.
She's just using her little girl wiles, her cute wiles.
Yep.
Like Kirby does.
Using high-voltage electricity to somehow disassemble a man's body and then beam him across to the Crystal Tower. It's an extraordinary thing to attempt, especially in public. True. It was by far the most unusual experiment planned for the exhibition, mind you. To be honest, I'm a bit surprised it was allowed. Carrying that out something so dangerous with so many spectators present, I mean? The government's doing everything it can to promote new science and technology at the moment. They're more worried about being ahead of the game than the odd spot of public safety. If they can be the first to develop some new technology, it makes Britain more powerful in the future, you see. Yeah, I suppose that's true in a way. So the powers that are placing a heavy emphasis on scientific rights at the moment.
What sort of rights?
They're making it so that theories, the brains have remains their legal property, as it were. Right through developing it into practical idea that even going into production. Blah blah blah. Which is infuriating reason us coppers aren't allowed to touch this crime scene. Because the new, highfalutin Special Department for the Scientific Equipment Act forbids it. Ah, I see. The only people with permission to investigate here are the same brand new department at the yard. The Forensic Investigation Team is called. We've been regulated to keeping guard. The Forensic Investigation Team, huh? An old fool could see that this heap of scrap metal was a sham to begin with. But that's because it's scientific equipment on the paperwork. We can't do a flaming thing with it.
Poor Grigsy. Oh, he's very het up, isn't he?
Aww. Special Dispensation Unit. Remind me again, what's this new legal act that means we're not allowed to touch anything at the scene here? Are you having at it, Sunshine? It's the Special Dispensation of the Scientific Equipment Act.
I don't know what he was trying to say.
Yes, I think Hurley mentioned that recently, with a real twinkle in his eye, as I remember.
I'm sure he did, your ladyship. I'm sure he did. Past, especially for the great exhibition it was. All scientists have to do is present their ideas or inventions to some suits in the civil service. And if it gets rubber-stamped, that's a guarantee of rights to maintain the invention's confidentiality. What does that even mean? Think about it. Think of all the world-changing new inventions on display every day at this expedition. Although a good half of them are a load of cobbles, if you ask me, put forward by shammers like yourself. Thanks for that.
Oh, I love how absurd some of the inventions are here. It's so fun.
It might be fun to you, my lady, but a member of the force has to be present at every single demonstration. Can you imagine, eh? Science, that's what I say.
Oh, I don't think so, Kringsy. That sounds like my dream job.
You would soon think otherwise after spending a day guarding all those shammers' bogus contraptions. But if they really are bogus, how can anyone hope to demonstrate them? There'd be no point. A little bit of 90s slang there, randomly.
Bogus.
Bogus. Well, there is a point, sadly. Huh? Sorry? Thanks to another of our government's bright ideas, if any theory or invention is deemed to show potential, the government hands out a research grant. The scientists get funding? Whoa! Exactly, but that's what they're after. All these shammers coming from far and wide to clog up the Hyde Park. And who keeps them all safe? Who has to smile politely and welcome them? Us coppers, that's what. So you can see why, can't ya? Hang science! Hang it!
Oh, maybe I can see your point, Kringsy.
Quite right, yes. Professor Harebrain. Apparently Professor Harebrain lives and works in Germany, now conducting his research.
That's right. Came back to Britain especially for the Great Exhibition, as I understand it. Probably after one of the government's research grants.
Actually, we learned something else about the professor earlier today. About his time in the further education. It turns out he was a university student with someone else we both know. Lord Van Zieks.
What? What's that? That's news to me. But if Van Zieks means the prosecution, then as the accused, the professor's fate is
sealed, because the Reaper will get him one way or another.
Yep.
Blimey. The man's beyond me. I don't know what goes on in his head at times like this. Talking of Van Zieks, the morning's papers ran the story of him being attacked. Read that?
Oh, yes, but Mr. Reaper is completely fine. Nothing to worry about.
Yes, right. Glad to hear it. Still the Reaper, huh? How long's that business been going up, I wonder?
Okay, the mystery of the Reaper. More stuff to say?
Ready?
The victim on this case, the investor, Mr. Asman, he was another of the Reaper's victims, earlier and earlier every day. Or so I heard.
Lord Van Zieks is a top-class persecutor, yes? Prosecutor. Blast! But even he can't always push the right verdict through. Sometimes justice can't win.
Yeah, I've heard about the jurors being bribed and evidence being falsified, blah, blah, blah. And that's how the notion of the Reaper of the Bailey came about, isn't it?
Obviously, Scotland Yard suspected Van Zieks initially. We all assumed he was taking matters into his own hands if he failed to seal the deal in court.
Although the man himself denies that charge.
Well, we've done a very thorough investigation, and the conclusion we reached, well, is that Lord Van Zieks is nowhere related to the deaths of these people outside of the courtroom. There's no question in my mind. I'd stake my reputation on it, I would.
But if that's true, then how do you explain it? All those defendants couldn't have coincidentally died if nobody killed them.
I know that, but I can't explain it. It's a mystery, after all, isn't it? That's the whole point of the Reaper.
Yeah, Professor Harebrain mentioned something else, though. He said that at the university, Lord Van Zieks was totally a different person, easygoing and kind.
You what?
He said that it was after the graduation that something happened to change Van Zieks. Do you have any idea what it was?
No clue.
Really?
Why, right, look, I've got my hands full watching over this frustrating crime scene. Why don't you go and make a nuisance of yourself elsewhere, eh?
Oh, wow.
Feels like he does know.
Oh, maybe he'll let us examine stuff now.
Why are there sciencey things in a theme park? It's not really a theme park, it's like a World's Fair.
Yeah, it's a World's Fair.
But it's called this is actually a real historical event that happened.
So
It's
basically, for you Western people, think about Coney Island. Like, Coney Island was a place that had all kinds of inventions, and it's like a World's Fair thing. They don't really do that anymore. Like, they have certain trade shows, like I think it's like 5 or 6 years, they'll do some type of scientific thing.
It's a trade show.
But it's not really open to the public as much as it used to be.
It's an international exhibition, so it moves from city to city. Historically, this took place May 1st to October 15th of 1851, and the next one actually took place in Paris. So what they would do is people from all over the world would come and show their inventions, but also they would have food, they would have probably dancing, they would have like rides, everything. So it would everything all in one.
Okay. There are all sorts of strange buildings here in Great Britain, aren't there? At the exhibition? I seem to remember something similar being exhibited in Japan one time.
Oh, in your country, Bruno? I do wish I could go and see it. I present a particularly steely samurai with a present of one of Hurley's stories I'd written especially. And see if I couldn't get Hurley into a jam against some Bartitsu master ninjas.
You might not find as many of those sort of people around as you may think.
Oh, well that's very dull.
Oh, but I do know a prosecutor with a top knot on his head I could introduce you to.
John Madge? Con Mage, really? Do you think I could have my picture taken with him?
Con Mage?
I give up.
Chon Mage?
The traditional Japanese top knot. Just call it a top knot. It's fine.
Con Mage? Top knot?
There, top knot.
Assuming he's recovered from the trim Kazuma gave him a year ago, yes! Okay, so we're gonna keep investigating all this stuff.
Basically, think of it like... Oh, I was just gonna say, like, everyone was thinking about the future and, like, inventions and stuff. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Considering how badly damaged everything is, Professor Hairbrain was lucky to escape unscathed, I'd say. We should have a good look around the machine while we can, I think.
Touching anything and I'll make sure I kill you before I get strung up myself, you hear?
I won't touch a thing, I promise, so please, spare a thought of your digestion. It doesn't make any sense. Anyway, do you really think this machine could actually disassemble people like Professor claims?
He asks, looking totally incredulous. Give it a rest, sunshine. If you were allowed to examine all this bleeding crap metal, maybe we could find the answer. But we can't, can we? No!
Because of the annoying rules, you mean?
Exactly. The annoying, obstructive, flaming rules.
Oh, look at the base of the machine there.
Oh yes, there's a tool of some kind poking through the wire mesh.
It's a screwdriver, I think?
Oh, isn't it a lovely one? The handle is in the shape of a capital letter A.
It is. Oh, yes, you're right.
What's the matter with you? Don't touch anything, I said. Touching anything will make sure I kill you before I get strung up myself, I said.
Yeah, I understand. Sorry about that. I only touched it a teeny weeny bit.
But Gregsy, I'm very curious about this screwdriver. Very, very, very curious.
Personality change. Yep.
Of course you are, your ladyship. You're so clever, your ladyship. Fancy spotting something like this?
Oh boy.
But I'm afraid I can't let you have it.
But Runa found it first.
I assure you I'll investigate it thoroughly.
He's gone off with it.
That was very mean. I'm afraid Inspector Gregson is going to make a very clumsy and embarrassing mistake in next month's installment now.
Oh no. Poor Gregsy. You
She's
get
gonna
him.
write.
Yep.
She's gonna write him doing something stupid now.
Yep.
He'll have to learn from his mistake.
Right then. Are you done here, Mr. Naruhodo?
Sorry, no.
Is it about time you were leaving, or rather... Is it about time you were leaving? That lot are here now.
Oh, that lot?
Yes, the forensic investigation team. They'll be giving me the, heave-ho any minute now.
Oh dear, poor Gregsy. Here, have another cup of my special blend to cheer you up.
Oh, don't mind if I do. Glug, 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 glug. Ah. Aha! That hit the spot. Yup, hits it every time.
He loves tea. Well, at least I've seen the scene with my own eyes, sort of. It looks like this is as far as we're gonna get with our investigation here, at least.
I've been thinking, Ryuno. Harley might have known something, mightn't he have?
Huh? About what?
About Mr. Reaper.
About what happened to Lord Van Zeeks, you mean? Because it sounds like something very significant occurred after he graduated from the university. Something that completely changed his life. Maybe, but I have no idea where to find Mr. Sholmes at the moment anyway. He's in the middle of some big case, isn't he?
Yeah, this is what you need.
What's that? Some kind of entrance ticket? Madame Tuspel's... Is this supposed to mean something to me?
Oh, you don't know it? It's the most popular attraction in London at the moment. It's very close to Baker Street, actually. We can go now if you like.
No. We don't have time for visiting attractions today, Iris. We have a big trial tomorrow.
But that's where Harley is.
What? At this popular London attraction?
Yes,
How is that you know where he is?
Harley told me, but he told me to keep it a secret from you, Bruno.
Madame Tuspel, huh? I don't see how it could be related to the case we're investigating here, but then... stranger things have happened, and when they happen, Mr. Sholmes is usually in the heart of them.
Yep, almost time for some logic and reasoning, VG Shine.
Oh, no.
Definitely.
No. We don't want any of that nonsense.
Yeah, if you guys haven't caught up with this exploded, a guy died, and we have to, basically there was an accident, but they're saying it was murder. So we have to actually defend the scientist at the World's Fair, basically.
What is that gigantic thing over there? It looks like an enormous water wheel.
Oh, that's a Ferris wheel. There'll be people riding inside those little cabins that you can see.
Huh? Why?
Well, they'll rotate nice and slowly, so it's a wonderful way to see the surrounding scenery.
Wait, it's turning? But it looks completely still.
Yes, that's because it's turning ever so slowly. Only one complete revolution takes about half an hour.
If you were mad enough to get me in one, it would be more fun to whiz around fast, don't you think?
I feel as though you might have just invented a new sort of ride, Bruno.
Yeah, so maybe the first Ferris wheels were really slow. So this is probably one of the first Ferris wheels. I mean, like, back in the 1800s, they were probably just starting to make them.
Yep.
And look at how big they are. The carriages are, like, huge. It looks like they could fit several people in them.
Yep. Oh, look at that. The little Russian thing in the background.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
That's pretty cool.
Russian castle thing.
It does look Russian.
Alright. May as well leave. Not much we can do with Gregsy. Okay, let's go.
Logic and reasoning is the best part of the game. Why don't you guys like the logic and reasoning?
Because it takes so long.
China.
It takes so long. That's why.
Great to see you guys. SPX is Attorney Hype. Tim, Drummold, Kiri is here. Gogeta, Princess Emmy, and Fernando, Silver Leo. Great to see you guys. Ethan and OH, VG Shine, and Ruga.
Okay. Madame Tussle's Museum of Waxworks.
Oh no, not a wax museum.
Oh, Jack the Ripper.
Oh my gosh.
Who are all these people?
Creepy.
What is this place? Look at all these terrifying scenes, but why are we... what? Guillotines? Ruthless murderers? I know what I'll be dreaming about tonight.
A creepy museum.
They're all wax models. They're amazingly realistic, aren't they? What do you think, Bruno? Shocked?
Wax models? Yeah! I read about dead bodies and wax once in a magazine about strange phenomena. Depending on how corpses are kept after death, parts of them can turn into wax, apparently. It's called, I don't know what that is.
A dipocere?
Never heard of it.
I don't know.
Stop talking about creepy things like that, Bruno. You're scaring me.
You're scared! You're scared!
Anyway, a dipocere doesn't...
Ah!
What now?
I've just remembered something else I read in another magazine about strange phenomenon. There was an old lady, maybe a witch, who used to pour molten wax over corpses and put them on display.
None of these exhibits in here are real, Bruno. They're all entirely man-made replicas.
They can't be. Do you really expect me to believe that? They look at them. They look so real.
Oh,
There's no way anybody could make models of people that are so realistic.
That guy looks like he's using a chef's knife.
There's shown. Yeah, there's said that the Jack the Ripper used basically like a butcher's knife.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, there's
That looks like a culinary knife he's holding.
Yeah, there's a wide belief that Jack the Ripper actually was like a butcher,
a chef or something,
chef.
or a butcher.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow, I recognize that right away from my culinary class. That is not a weapon. That is an actual kitchen knife.
That's one of the reasons why it was very hard to catch him, is because, I mean, if he had blood all over his knives and he was a butcher, then he was, be very hard to...
Yeah, you would have blood all over your knives as
Yeah,
a butcher.
yep.
It'd be hard to check your DNA for every butcher in the entire area.
As well as his clothes, it would have been, one detective
Oh
said...
my gosh, Luke.
It would be very, normal for him to have blood splattered all over his clothing.
I don't want to be creepy, but we had to do a week where we had to do butcher stuff for our school, and yeah, I had to wash my uniform a lot. It was all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's continue.
There's no way anybody could make models of people that are so realistic, and they're all such gruesome scenes. Wait!
what is it?
No. I must be seeing things, but... there's
a body.
There's a body.
Oh my gosh.
Also, wait, did we just see... Wait, hang on. I thought I saw Sholmes.
Yeah, he was here. He was there. He was near Jack the Ripper.
Unless that is that really Sholmes, or is
That's
that...
him.
You think that's him, or you think that's
No, that's him. That is him. He's just standing there. There's no way they wouldn't...
Is this an example of Western,
Suchugiri? I don't know.
It's a Japanese word. That.
I don't know what Sujigiri is.
You know, an unscrupulous samurai randomly attacks a passerby to test his sword?
What? Oh,
yeah.
Really? They used to do that?
Well, they would make the excuse of that. Samurais were basically like small lords, like ruling people. So if you were a peasant and you ran into a samurai that was having a bad day, technically, if he wanted to draw his sword for whatever reason, he could. And they came up with lots of different ways that samurais could, not every samurai was a good person.
Oh my god.
Some people would abuse their power. That's why eventually there were samurais known as ronin that would wander the land and basically act like sheriffs in the Old West or lawmen in the Old West.
Oh wow.
Is because there were a lot of samurai that at one point in time became very corrupt.
Wow.
So, yeah. That's what he's talking about.
I still don't know. No. But actually, a WaxWork samurai would probably be hugely popular. Could you model it? Do you think, Bruno? Doing that Tsujigiri thing that you mentioned?
Well, I do have a sword, but I have no intention of testing how sharp it is on a human subject. For now, at least.
Creepy.
He doesn't know anything about Jack the Ripper. I wanted him to ask her. Alright, we don't want to talk to Holmes right now. And we'll examine the body in a little bit. Just want to see as much as we can. Is this some infamous murder?
Yes, called Jane the Ripper, and all her victims were young women.
Wait a second.
So they're like changing
They
it
changed it. Okay.
for this?
I knew it! You tell by the way she's holding that knife. Sure things of murder.
Well, yes.
Ah!
What's the matter, Bruno?
I've worked it out. I know what she's doing. She's trying to fill that bathtub with blood so she can have the soak in her victim's gore.
Well, not according to the information about the exhibit on the little board here. It doesn't mention anything about the bathtub.
Really?
Sorry, I don't think it's significant.
Ah. I still think it has to be there for a reason.
Wow, Runo, you have a dark mind.
I mean, so they turned her into Jack the Ripper. Then why do they have the classic Jack the Ripper? Like over there.
I don't know. That is Jack the Ripper.
That is Jack the Ripper. Yeah, attacking women in the alleyways.
How long did Jack the Ripper actually continue to commit crimes, though?
3 or 4 years.
And he was never
He
caught.
was never caught. Nope.
Oh, that's a funny place for a little ladder.
In fact, the cases became so extravagant that eventually, as a way to try to, put people's fears aside, they started to say it was a fictional character.
Like it wasn't real.
Like it wasn't a real thing that was really happening. It was the police trying to make it, so that less streetwalkers and people would be out at night, like past curfew and stuff like that. Because they were never able to solve it.
So they pretended like it was a story to scare people.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a funny place for a little ladder.
Supposedly, but yeah, it did happen.
Oh yeah, I don't doubt it.
In fact, because of Jack the Ripper, that's why people were able to, make different type of police work, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, happen faster than it should have. Like, different type of forensic stuff. And
oh, like they had to...
They had to increase they had to change the way they were doing police work. Like, in examining
they had to
crime
get better
scenes and
at
things like
police
that.
work and investigations.
Well, and introduce new stuff eventually, yeah. Or, like, people like the Ripper would always get away with it.
What is it? Is something wrong?
No, it's just that in Japanese, we have a totally different word for a ladder that folds in half like that.
We do in English too, It's a step ladder, or just steps. So be careful of making assumptions about other cultures, Bruno. That's how wars are started.
What? I didn't realize step ladders were an international point of contention, but the writer makes an astute point. What?
Why would you start a war over a ladder, Iris?
Yeah, that's what I would like to know. Alright, we're gonna come back to the
Amber
shows.
and Runo would be good friends. Probably Carrie. Oh my gosh, because he looks up weird stuff.
These models are so well made, I can't tell what waxwork and what's a real human.
Tim says Ryunosuke is acting like Shaggy.
Kind of, yeah.
Or maybe all the exhibits are real people, Bruno. And when it's closing time and all the visitors are gone home, they suddenly start moving about.
Oh, just thinking about that makes me wish it was closing time already and I was on my way home. Okay, so nothing to do here. I guess. Oh, there was something else to.
Actually, there was a... I don't want to talk about it, but there was a creepy lady that... I don't want to talk about it. I'm pretty sure she lived in Transylvania. She did something like that.
Yeah. You want to see if Sholmes is real or a wax guy?
I think he's real.
It's...
Oh!
The great detective Herlock Sholmes!
Oh no!
Mr. Sholmes has his own wax statue in here? Really?
He moved. I saw him move his face.
Well, he is world famous after all.
It's uncanny, the resemblance, isn't it? It makes my skin crawl to look at it.
I know.
It's him, he moved.
But...
But look, Reno, you can kick this Hurley and he won't move a muscle.
You can't go around kick... You can't go around kicking the exhibits, Iris. Wait! It just moved! It moved! I saw it just a little bit.
Really? Did it? I don't see anything.
And look closely. There are beads of sweat on his face of the WaxWork model.
Wow, such detail. That's amazing, Reno.
Shall we move on, Iris? Over there, look, there's a great murder scene to enjoy. Much more appealing.
Hold it!
My dear fellow, I take exception to the recoiling in such a manner, as you've seen something truly abhorrent. Mr. Sholmes! I knew it! Iris, what possessed you to kick me? I strictly forbade you from divulging my temporary waxwork secret to Mr. Naruhodo. Temporary waxwork? What do you mean? And that kick! Could you have not exercised a little bit more restraint? You winded me!
But Reno has something that he needs to ask you, Hurley.
Ah, a question.
And I thought that you'd probably get bored too. So, here we are.
Well, I can't deny that your timing was impeccable. A mere 2 minutes more being stationary like that, and my great brain, upon which all my success has been built, would have been turned to wax. Thank goodness we arrived in time. Indeed, in many ways, the pair of you just saved the world from an unimaginable loss. What?
Oh, Hurley, you do like to talk nonsense, do you?
Why was he posing as a wax figure? He could know something, it's true,
Sorry, headphone users.
about Lord Van Zeeks and what happened in the past to change him. Now that you're here, let's take our time. How can I be of assistance? For you're in luck. I'm quite taken aback with the idea of conversing. Oh, well, actually, I'm in quite a hurry. And if my eyes don't deceive me, I believe something else is afoot within the walls of this very museum. Most fascinating case, if I'm not mistaken. Really?
Sorry.
Hands down. Moreover, I have a strong suspicion that it's related to the matter about which you've come to me now. But, how could it be? We shall speak again presently, my dear fellow, but for now I must return to my work. What? Back to being a temporary wax exhibit?
I think he's trying to observe people talking, maybe. Frequently listening on him, like pretends to be.
Wouldn't he have to go back by the streetlight?
Yeah, I don't know. He's just sitting there.
Yeah. What is this place? Madame Tuspels came to London from France 3 years ago, I understand. Since she opened a little waxwork museum last year, it's enjoyed great popularity in London. There are museums like this in Japan too, but these displays are something else. I mean, they aren't made from actual real people, are they? The extreme realism of these waxworks models is particularly a secret of Tuspel's family, they say. They earned renown during the French Revolution for waxworks of victims of the guillotine. That sounds grim.
Oh.
The gruesome scenes were portrayed with such realism and expressions of the face of the condemned.
Apparently, the sculptors would make the models directly from the corpses, right there at the sites of the executions.
That really turns my stomach to think about this.
Why would they sculpt people that were dying?
That's one of the several legends at the Tuspels family. Yes, whether there's any truth to it or not, I couldn't say. But anyway, this museum houses models of famous people from all over the globe. Nevertheless,
The most popular area of the museum by quite some margin is the House of Horrors. House of Horrors? Of course, visiting numbers are dwindling now as a result of the Great Exhibition, but people usually flock here to see the exhibits of some of London's most vile criminals at their gruesome work. Naturally, most of their miscreants portrayed here were sent to the gallows, mind you, so there are even other models of them. Ha 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 ha. Have you heard of poor taste? My dear fellow, the public live for poor taste. They yearn to be shocked. So, the hideous exhibits in here are...
They're all portrayals of real events that actually took place.
Is it just me, or did the temperature in this room just seem to drop? Anyway, I advise you not to think too deeply about what you see here. Oh, he's back to being a waxwork figure, is he? I'm just gonna call him wax figure, because waxwork, that's gonna get me all tongue-tied.
Wax shomes, waxy shomes.
Wax shomes. Temporary work. What do you mean by temporary waxwork, Mr. Shomes? Exactly what you see. I'm part of the exhibits here, catching these criminals in the act. Catching them? Every half hour, I come in on a different killer in one of the displays and adopt a new pose to ensnare him. When members of the public come for a closer look, I offer them my hand to shake. For a shilling, I'll happily allow them to photograph me as well. Us? Does that mean the waxwork murderers in here? But why, Mr. Shomes? My dear fellow, isn't it obvious? For money!
Oh, he's low on money?
He really roared at me here. Very fitting for the House of Horrors.
Maybe he needs money.
As it stands, I may struggle to pay this month's rent, and I have the ravenous Iris to consider.
Ravenous. She needs food.
Oh, Harley, I'm so hungry.
You see what I mean? If push comes to shove, I shall have to ask you to do your bit too, Mr. Naruhodo. What are you threatening to rope me into now? So, with that in mind, how about a photograph? As a special treat, you may have your pick of the murderers and scoundrels in here. The choice is yours. Maybe some other time. Remember, Mr. Naruhodo, ignore me at your peril.
Wait, he needs money this month?
He's back to, basically, he's like those dudes on the street that ask for money.
Oh my gosh.
Except he's in a wax museum. It's pretty brilliant, actually. I'm back to being a waxwork again. Is it me, or did this final remark there sound a bit like a curse?
You mean retired actors at sci-fi conventions?
Yeah, totally.
He should give autographs.
Yeah, something to ask. He does give autographs and charges people.
You realize I have a job to do here, right? Well, what is it you would like to ask me then?
Actually, it's about Lord Van Zeeks.
Ah, our friend Mr. Reaper. How did you find him? Well, I trust.
Oh, okay, that was apparently important. And so I filled Mr. Shomes in about everything I'd learned. About Lord Van Zeeks, about Professor Hairbrain, and about the strange coincidence that they had been at the university together, too.
Candle in the Dark says, it's okay, Amber. I'm used to my nightly scream wake-up call with this series.
Oh my gosh.
Sorry.
So I'm wondering, what was it that happened to make Lord Van Zeeks such a different person?
I was sure that you'd know that, Harley.
Ah. You said there was something going on here in this exhibit hall before, that something was afoot. And you believed it was related to what I wanted to ask you about. Mr. Shomes. He suddenly clammed up again.
Well, it seems you've reached the unavoidable.
Greetings! Oh.
Oh, greetings. I don't know.
Hello. Where did you appear from? She's a young French woman.
Oh, she's French.
Yep, have fun.
Oh, great.
What's she wearing? Could she look any more mysterious?
I hope you darn it, I don't know if French. I hope you are appreciating my museum.
There you go. Sorry, have we? Mr. Shomes, do you know this? Ah, not again!
He's back to being wax.
Well, My apologies. I am Esmeralda Tuspes. This is my museum of waxwork.
Oh, what? You're the Madame Tuspels?
Bien sûr. I think I said that correctly, even though French is my language. Though only 26 years young, I might add.
Is that significant somehow? I'm 24.
Oh, how interesting. I am Madame, in name only, though. It has a certain je ne sais quoi.
Right.
Firstly, I must apologize for my waxworks, or rather, one waxwork in particular.
That'd be Mr. Sholmes then.
I was led to believe he was a great detective, but he seems unable to settle. Next time you move from your designated exhibit, there will be toil and turmoil, Mr. Sholmes.
Oh!
She sounds deadly serious.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my goodness.
That's a problem. How am I supposed to ask Mr. Sholmes about Lord Van Zeeks now?
Let's not forget that Harley said before.
So she's too cheap to basically make a Sherlock Holmes wax person, but because he's so important, he needs to be in the museum.
She's forcing him.
Yep.
Oh my god.
Why can't she just make a wax model of him?
About something being afoot right here in the museum, I mean.
Yeah, I know, but
I'm so curious. I want to know what's happening here.
Alright. Haven't we got enough on our plate already, though? Okay, well, let's ask the nice lady.
She has red eyes.
Yeah, it's kind of creepy. The waxworks. Did you make all these waxworks, Madame Tuspels?
Oui, I did. I am the third generation of waxwork artisans, you know.
Oh, wow.
Gosh! It was my grandmother who began the tradition in my family. Her fortunes were checkered, living through the turbulent times of the French Revolution as she did. Though that is when she acquired the savoir-faire that leads to the astonishing life like this. All these waxworks really do look as if they're alive. In fact, they look more alive than Harley does. Yes, what you see exhibited here represents the most atrocious of London's criminal past. All the waxworks, excuse me, my accent
Wax figures.
comes and goes, were created in the presence of the real people on which they were modeled. In the hours immediately following their executions. That is the secret to this extraordinary lifelikeliness.
That sounds terrifying.
All walks of life have similar challenges, I'm sure. To carry out one's trade per excellence, one must go to extraordinary lengths. My exhibits are a reflection of society. I create only that which the public wishes to see.
Why couldn't the public have wished for something less horrifying and maybe cute? Like little bunnies?
Do not fear.
Sorry?
This room is the only one in the museum with such a macabre theme. I do hope that you will explore more. There are matters of famous singers, actors, politicians, and something for every taste, I hope.
It was Iris who dragged me straight here, come to think of it.
Sorry, perhaps I should have eased you into things for now.
Okay, the Great Detective Waxwork. What's going on with that? Okay, so why is Sholmes here? What's the situation with, that?
My temporary waxwork model? He approached me some days ago, you see, with a business proposal.
Oh, what sort of proposal? My dear madam, what these Spurs exhibits need is the addition of the world-famous Great Detective.
Or words to that effect.
Yep, that sounds like Sholmes.
Naturally, I am well aware that Mr. Sholmes is widely known in London as a talented detective.
It's great, Detective, actually. He's very specific about it.
Yes, the creme de la creme. So I was keen to come to some arrangement with him, of course. But sadly, we were unable to agree to any terms.
Let me guess. Someone wanted to charge an exorbitant price for his services. For a mere £500, I will dive into your cauldron of wax this very moment.
Oh my gosh!
Wow.
Oh, words to that effect, at least.
Mr. Sholmes might have overdone it slightly with the sales pitch.
I'm afraid he would have died. Regrettably, the museum has a shortage of funds at the moment due to unforeseen circumstances. So, we came to the current arrangement instead.
Surely he doesn't need to do what he's doing, though, does he?
I would think not, but he was very insistent.
I have 50 shilling problem. That must be resolved by the morning. 50 shilling problem?
Oh, words to that effect.
Okay.
It's the pawnbroker. That's what it is. He must have something to redeem.
Is the consulting detective work not going so well? Also, Iris hasn't been able to publish a book in a while either.
Oh, right, because he keeps telling her she can't publish certain books.
Yeah, 2 books she hasn't been able to publish. Something's afoot. I wonder, could I ask you something?
Bien sûr.
I'm just curious, is anything going on in the museum at the moment? Some kind of incident, perhaps?
Whoever suggested such a thing to you?
Oh, well, it was just, Ah! Your temporary wax figure over there mentioned it to me a little... Where did he go? Ah! He's disappeared again! A wax model is a work of art, not some tawdry object for trade. Ah!
Oh, there he is.
There you... Oh, there you are!
Ah, leaving the exhibit again when you should be working? Do you wish to be melted down, Mr. Sholmes?
My dear Madam Tussbells, save your reprimands. There are more pressing concerns. The wax can wait. It's our ideas about your current problem we must throw into the melting pot instead. Personally, I would advise you not to involve the police.
Why ever not?
She's turned as white as a sheet. Because you have at your disposal a great detective whose services you may empty for a mere 50 shillings. Though please be aware that I prefer... No, I insist upon payment in advance.
Advance? Very well. Let us see if the great detective is able to live up to his name, shall we?
Before I engage in my analytical process, I must ask you to clarify something. What, pray tell, is behind the curtain?
That is the Tussper's special exhibit. There is an extra charge to see it.
Ah, the special exhibit in the House of Horrors. It must depict a special killer, then, I presume? Would you be so kind to draw back the curtain, I wonder?
Oh, absolutely no. There is nothing amiss behind that.
Nothing amiss, madam. What about the arm protruding ominously through under the curtain?
Oh!
Yeah, I was going to ask about that. I was going to click on that before, but I thought it would skip a bunch of stuff and Sholmes would appear. I strongly encourage you to allow me to see what lies beyond there before the situation worsens.
Yes, oui, very well. I would draw back the curtains, but only a second.
Something in French.
Yeah, I don't know what she said.
I don't know. I must confess, I peeked behind the curtain earlier. The Tussbell special exhibit is a very bleak graveyard scene indeed. And yet, somehow, Surprisingly, the waxwork killer one would expect is nowhere to be seen. That does strike as one odd, however. Is the portly gentleman lying peacefully on his back on the floor?
It doesn't look like a wax person.
Well then perhaps, Mr. Sholmes, that man on the floor is a ruthless killer himself? I'm afraid not, my dear fellow. He's a perfectly ordinary London gentleman, not even a wax figure, in fact. What? As skillfully made as these wax figures are, they are always distinguishable from real humans. So, allow me to present my two conclusions. The first is that sizable business transaction has been taking place in this special exhibit.
Why? Why would you say that?
And the second is the aforementioned transaction is linked to a serious crime.
Oh!
She looks as pale as a candle wax.
I do not understand.
So, Madame Tuspels, as you've agreed to my fee, you shall now have the pleasure of seeing this famously great detective and temporary exhibit of art. Here we go.
The Great Deduction.
The Great Deduction. The game is afoot.
Whoa.
Waxworks. Fate. Conclusion. To begin with, we must ask ourselves what exactly is afoot here in this museum, eh? The answer is revealed in the bundle of banknotes protruding so helpfully from your bag. Oh wow. In my estimation, some £200 worth.
That is all my own money.
So what does this large sum of money reveal? She's in debt. Ah, not as much as the involuntary glance you cast? It would seem, Madame Tuspels. Yes, the answer lies where your eyes now fall. The significance of the £200 is revealed by that public notice. Wax figures for sale. Your business has hit hard times, it would seem. In short, you sold the infamous killer the centerpiece for your special exhibit for the sum of £200.
No!
Now, let us explore the next curiosity for which we are presented. Who is this portly gentleman stretched out so peacefully on the floor? It would appear the man has suffered a severe shock, the cause of which is clearly known to you. Unfortunately, madam, keeping secrets does not appear to be your forte. What dealt the man such a shocking blow was, of course, the £200. It would appear that you twisted this gentleman around your little finger most effectively.
What are you suggesting?
He ravishly agreed to purchase the waxwork for the sum of £200. Only when he came to hand over the money did it occur to him that an extraordinate amount he was paying, but the money was no longer in his hands. And the result? The scene we've seen before us. He collapsed in shock. Yes, the killer in the special exhibit fetched a killer price. We only pray that the gentleman's dreams are not plagued with regret. Okay.
Oh, she's selling her wax figures because she has no money.
Sold for cash. Well, the great exhibit is probably putting her out of money.
Oh yeah, because it's a better exhibit than it's like tons of.
Well, it's also brand new, and you know.
Yeah.
The question that arises then is what has become of the waxwork that's changed hands, eh? Let us consider the problem for a moment.
You cannot possibly.
But I can. What immediately strikes me odd about this conundrum is the young man standing over there. Who is this fellow? To find the answer, we need only to observe his neck chief. His neck piece?
Handkerchief.
Whatever.
I would say handkerchief.
Such is worn by a policeman as a secret sign to fellow members of the force that a crime is being perpetrated. Yes, this young man is an undercover policeman currently investigating this museum. I know him well, in fact. It's Sergeant John Clay.
What are you talking about?
The man's quite a celebrity. He received a triple accolades at last year's policing awards.
But...
Next to him, we turn our attention to the old man sat before him, with the particularly unsightly visage. I've been watching closely, and he hasn't moved a muscle, almost in fact, as if he were a wax figure.
But you,
Your reaction only confirms my suspicions, madam. I notice at once, of course. Observe! The telltale sign that instantly proves whether or not this old man is a waxwork by the previous price tag that's obvious on his neck. The turret spins a tragically low price, you might say, though perhaps the going rate of aging wax figures riddled with cracks.
I think that's the price of the scarf.
And yet you sold it to the portly gentleman for an extravagant amount. It's so hard to actually read and do voices and
I know it is,
accents
sweetheart.
and stuff like that. Of sort, the plucky behavior that's sure to attract the attention of Scotland Yard, isn't that so, madam?
I do not.
I'm not done yet. Yes, the wax figure you sold has already been seized by the police and remains in their custody as we speak. The old man must be reunited with the grave in the special exhibit, and not a moment too soon. Ooh. Doing that voice always makes me a little lightheaded because of how fast Holmes speaks. Thus concludes Sherlock Holmes' great deduction of the horrifying puzzle. That'll be 50 shillings, please.
Ugh.
I see I've stunned you all into silence.
You have, Hallie, you have. And you've obviously upset this young lady in the process. Her cauldron looks awfully hot.
If I could just bring up one point, Mr. Sholmes? Ah, the notorious Naruhodo 1 point. I'm all ears, my dear fellow. According to your deduction, then, the special exhibit featured this old police people? So, that would mean that he's particularly a ruthless murderer, wouldn't it? The killer policeman. Ottermole. Sorry, what? It was a mysterious series of murders that rattled the capital only last year. The police rushed to the scene every time, only to find that the culprit had disappeared into the ether.
And it turned out the culprit was a policeman himself, a senior officer by the name of Ottermole.
So you mean that's who the sinister-looking old man there is supposed to be? Indeed. It is particularly grim face, is it not? Unforgettable, in fact, yes. I remember that odious, face only too well. But is £200 a lot of money for a wax model? It would be enough to afford one of the latest STEM carriages, if that puts things in perspective. So, it's quite a lot then?
Is there anything else that you wish to add? Before I melt you down!
That bubbling wax is looking more and more ominous.
Oh, the smell of all this molten wax is starting to worry me.
Mr. Sholmes did more or less just accuse her to her face, so I think I might have to call on your assistance here, Iris. Is that okay? To make some minor corrections to the great detectives, great deductions?
Of course, it's all right, Reno. We'll soon set things straight again.
Well, let's get started then, shall we? Before Madame Tussbells wants her revenge. Just what I was waiting to hear, my dear fellow. So, Madame Tussbells, in accordance with our agreement, you shall now have the pleasure of seeing the famously great detective and temporary exhibit at work. Course correction. Hold it, Mr. Sholmes.
Yay! Yes, this is Luke's favorite part. Candle in the dark. Yep, definitely.
To begin with, we must ask ourselves what exactly is afoot here in this museum, eh? The answer is revealed in the bundle of banknotes protruding out of your bag. In my estimate, some £200, likely.
That is all my own money!
So what does this large sum of money reveal?
Ah, not as much as involuntary glance you cast, it would seem, Madame Tuspels. Yes, the answer lies within your eyes, where they now fall. To the sign here, the significance of the 200 pounds is revealed in this public notice. Okay, here we go. She definitely looked in that direction, it's true.
I'm not sure that she'd sell any of her waxworks, even for 200 pounds, though.
Oh?
She must pour her heart and soul into making them, don't you think? Over and above the wax. If it were me, I wouldn't sell them for anything.
Yeah, but if you need money, like, you might have to.
For that much money, I would, but it sounds like that makes me a bad person. Well, anyway, I wonder if the 200 pounds could have some other significance.
Let's follow that furtive glance again and see if there's anything else that could explain it.
I mean, wouldn't the... Oh, there we go.
A note.
What's that note doing pinned on the wall there?
Oh yes, let's see. Dear Madame Tuspel, we've taken the prisoner from this room. The price for his safe return is 200 pounds. Have the money ready by noon on the 23rd of October.
What?
It's some sort of thing left behind when someone is kidnapped.
Yes, it's a ransom note right now.
Exactly.
Oh no! She's trying to get money together to... Oh my gosh, somebody stole somebody.
Somebody stole a wax figure, yeah.
Oh.
The significance of the 200 pounds is revealed by this ransom note over here. Quite so, and we must congratulate these criminals on their inventiveness abducting a waxwork.
Oh!
200 pounds is no small ransom fee, yet you clearly intend to pay it.
The model in question has a special importance, so I put together all the money that I have.
In summary then, the 200 pounds you have in your handbag is ransom money. Now, let us explore the next curiosity with which we are presented.
That guy.
Who is the portly gentleman stretched out so peacefully on the floor? It's the banker. It would appear the man has suffered a severe shock,
Oh, sorry.
the cause of which is clearly known to you. Unfortunately, madam, keeping secrets does not appear to be your forte. What dealt the man such a shocking blow? Of wax, of course. The 200 pounds in your pocket. So if the wax figure is kidnapped, where does that leave us in terms of the who that man is?
Oh, we can just ask him when he comes around.
I think the point of this exercise is to understand the beauty of the deductive process, Iris.
Yes, you're right. Hurley's trying so hard. We mustn't let him down.
Well, there's a little doubt that he suffered a shock. That much seems clear. But in that case, what Madame Tuspel's trying to hide, let's have a closer look around, shall we? She's trying to hide something. What's this? Oh, that's nothing.
No, look at her. Oh, never mind. I thought she was...
There's a glove.
Glove?
There's a glove.
Take that!
I don't understand.
Whoopsies. At first glance, Madame Tuspel's hand seems slender and delicate. But obviously, all wax modeling she does has made for a very big and strong hand. She could easily have knocked that man out with just a single punch. In that case, perhaps I should ask what knocks some sense into you? What? You've missed a crucial clue right before your eyes. I need a second.
I think that that's not a...
That's not. That's something.
I don't think that that's her hand. I think that's a wax hand. I think they cut the wax hand off the figure to show they had it.
Right.
Like, in a creepy way. To be like, if you want the rest of the figure, like, you have to pay 200,000 or 200 pounds. Alright, great to see you guys in the chat. Hello, Kiri says hopefully Iris will help this time. Hey, Cheyenne, great to see you, OH, and Simons, and Roscoe, Ethan, Akira, Christina Combs, and Cassie, and Totally Spies fan. Great to see you, Candle in the Dark, and everyone.
Alright. The art of deduction lies not just in the observational skills, but any good observationist as well. So you get a strike. Okay. It must have been considerable blow to have knocked the man unconscious.
Yes, he looks like a very steady man, doesn't he? Oh, perhaps he was struck in the back of the head with something hard.
Don't sound so excited about it, Iris. Whatever did leave the man out cold like that, it must have been something quite large.
Oh, goody, we're getting to the bottom of this.
It has to be a wax hand.
Ah, this is Madame Tespa's right hand, isn't it?
Yeah, it must be. I can clearly see her left hand after all.
Oh, but wait a minute. This is a left hand as well. Look.
Don't say such creepy things, Iris, please.
And it seems very stiff too. In fact, it's really hard.
You mean it's made of wax? Alright, well, let's try presenting the hand again.
Take that!
There we go. Sweet. So I jumped the gun before. My bad. What dealt the man such a shocking blow, of course? The wax figure's hand. Ah, indeed, with a solid waxwork limb, one could deliver a very substantial blow.
Oh, could you?
Yes, the hand protruding from the bottom of your cape ought to be a right hand, but closer closer inspection reveals that it is in fact not your left hand, but a figure's hand.
Oh!
And somewhat masculine as well. In other words, it does not belong to you, madam. It is the hand of a wax figure's hand thing.
Yeah! Some of the visitors to my museum can be troublesome. They meddle with the exhibit and cause damage.
So you mean the arm?
Yes, this gentleman saw fit to try to remove it as a souvenir.
No small keepsake, actually. Like taking a whole branch of a cherry tree when you go to view the blossoms.
I am afraid I had to teach this man a lesson. Sorry.
You confronted the man and tried to take the arm back. And as a result, the scene was and as you see, the result is the scene we see before us. He was knocked unconscious. A point which may now need to revisit later. But as the time being, we have our conclusion. Yes, the killer in this special exhibit has been kidnapped. Okay, so that's part one. Dun-dun! Kidnap solved. Now for the number 2. Discovered already. The question that arises then is what has become of the waxwork that changed hands, eh? Let us consider that problem from a moment before.
You cannot possibly...
Ah, but I can. The immediately strikes me about this conundrum is the young man standing over there.
Oh?
Who is this fellow? To find the answer, we need only to observe his neckerchief. According to Mr. Sholmes, the yellow neckerchief is a sign of an other policeman that some crime is underway.
A way of communicating with his colleagues about revealing his identity. Yes, it's a secret that closely guarded by Scotland Yard.
That Mr. Sholmes didn't hesitate to give away either. Oh, wow.
Well, uncovering secrets is any true detective's nature, of course, Bruno.
Right. Anyway, judging from Madame Tuspel's reaction to Mr. Sholmes' deduction, I think perhaps we might not have identified the man quite correctly. And just a little behind the scenes, guys, when we did Ace Attorney, the trilogy, there was a lot of flubs in speaking that we went and we reread the line. And that way it was like a more concise Let's Play. The fact that we're switching between these different voices, like in real time in front of you, there's going to be a lot of human error.
Yeah, we did. Like,
So-
if we messed up on the line, we would just keep it on. We would just keep the recording on this, and then we would edit the voice later over it.
Yep. We would go through and we would redo lines if it came out badly during the editing process. Exactly. Yep. We were a bit of perfectionists that way.
Because you can leave it on the screen as long as you want, so you can get the line right.
Yep, to some extent. We also did stuff in post. He's actually a wax figure. You can see right there. There's his arm.
Oh, that's the wax figure.
He's not a real officer.
Hmm.
What the? The man has a stub sticking out of his shoulder, where his arm used to be.
Ah, well that settles that then.
Right. This isn't a real person at all.
His entire arm's been ripped off from the shoulder down.
His arm's been... Of course, that ties in with what we just found.
Exactly, Reno.
Take that!
So Holmes thought this was a real person. It's not. Who is this fellow? To find the answer, we need only to observe the shoulder stub. No such boneless humans walks this earth. Of that I can assure you.
Thanks for that, Holmes.
In other words, the man standing here, the young Sergeant John Clay, is in fact, defying all odds, a WaxWork model. I seem to remember it was you who concluded he was a real person in the first place, Holmes.
He has become quite a celebrity in London, being the winner of no less than 3 policing awards last year. I simply had to make a model of the man.
Naturally, what other explanation could there be? And it was the detective's arm that was pulled off by the man on the floor in the exhibit, wasn't it?
Tim says, you've been doing multiple voices over the course of an hour. It's understandable.
Next, we turn our attention to the old man sat before him with particularly unsightly visage. I've been watching closely, and he hasn't moved a muscle, almost in fact as if he were waxwork.
Ah!
Da-da-da.
But you,
Your reaction only confirms my suspicions, madam. I noticed it once, of course. Observe. The telltale sign that instantly proves whether or not this old man is a wax figure is the obvious price tag. A killer policeman called Ottermole, was it? Was he well known?
it was all over the papers last year, Bruno, but I can't say I know what he looks like. It's a very low price, though, for a wax figure. Threepence isn't much money at all.
Only enough for a few measly hours of gas in Mr. Gerdeb's delightful lodgings, in fact. So this is a special killer taken from the special exhibit, is it? The wax figure that somebody stole from the museum and tried to ransom for 200 pounds. Is this crusty old killer policeman Ottermole? Really?
Or perhaps we should have a good look around again and see if another idea crops up.
I mean, his foot's moving.
Yeah.
He's very much alive. Oh, look at this! The old man's tapping his foot like crazy!
He seems to be fast asleep, though.
He's not tapping his foot, consciously, then? So you mean...
It must be a twitch.
Never mind that. The point is, the waxworks don't tap their feet.
Or twitch.
And look at his arm, too. I've seen that scarf somewhere else, haven't we?
Take that!
Yep.
He's real. Oh, great. Another new character. The telltale sign that instantly proves whether or not this old man is a wax figure is the obvious twitching. Even the most realistic of wax figures do not exhibit a twitch. In other words, this splendid old man is in fact a genuine member of Scotland Yard. Slight shift in your choice of adjectives, then. Yes, quite. And there you have it. Well, Madam Tuspels?
Well, what? It was me who contacted the police and demanded that someone come in the first place. He is clearly fatigued. He is sound asleep.
But then, what's with the tag about showing a price of 3 pence? Ah, no doubt the price of the muffler which the old Bobby purchased recently at a local market. And I presume we've observed the scarf tied around his arm? Does that not strike you, Mr. Naruhodo? Ah, yes, the secret sign used by detectives to show that some criminal activity is currently underway.
Of course, because as you know, there has just been some criminal activity happening here, as you deduced from the very beginning, Detective.
Ah, yes. So it would seem that we finally arrived to the truth.
We did?
Yes. The waxwork of the especially ruthless killer from the special exhibit has been kidnapped. And Scotland Yard has already been investigating. but the model's whereabouts remain a mystery. Thus concludes Sherlock Holmes' great deduction of this horrifying puzzle.
So we concluded there's a wax statue missing.
Still a mystery is the conclusion. Solved.
Maybe we could have just asked Madam. Oh well, it's okay.
Deduction complete. Elementary.
Alright, see ya, Ethan. Have a good night.
All right then.
All sorts of people visit my museum here. Men and women, young and old. Sometimes they drop in just for a short time on the way back from the pub. I welcome all of them. But if anyone tries to damage my exhibits, I do not take it lightly. Anyway...
Okay.
Your great deduction was even more enchanting than I had been led to believe.
Give him his money. That'll be 50 shillings, please. It was a pleasure, my dear madam.
50 shillings!
I'm gratified that you enjoyed the spectacle. And as, your rough customer, I've no doubt he'll remain unconscious shortly and return home. What concerns me more is the waxwork from the special display, if it was indeed generally abducted.
Yes, tragically it was.
Then I would ask you to recount to us the events surrounding the stolen waxwork. In as much detail as possible, if you please.
Very well. But after I have told you what I know, I must insist that you return to your work of standing there as my wax figure.
The talents of a great detective could be put to better use, I feel, but as you wish.
Do your job, Mr. Sholmes. Thank you.
Want to know what the officer... These models are so well made, I can't tell what's waxwork and what's a real human.
That's how Harley gets away with making himself a temporary exhibit for the day.
Maybe there are other people posing as exhibits in here then, too.
Or maybe all the exhibits are real people. And when it's closing time and all the visitors have gone home, they suddenly start moving about.
Oh, just thinking about it makes me wish it was closing time already and I was on my way home. Alright, so we got that. It's just a collapsed man.
At least it turned out that he's not one of the mass murderers victims.
True, but he is one of the waxwork victims in a way, isn't he?
It's hard to go between English and French. I'm like all messed up.
Yep.
He's not showing any signs of life.
Because he really isn't dead. Because he really is dead? No?
Exactly. Come on. You're always pointing that finger of yours in the court. Poke. Oh, darn it. No.
Iris is French.
Poke that arm now and see how it feels, Ronald.
Objection!
Oh!
I'm not touching a body. That's weird.
Let's poke him.
No.
Wait, there was something else there.
Where?
I thought the pole or... Yeah, the curtain.
The curtain? Okay. That big heavy curtain is very prominent position, isn't it, Iris? I have a nasty feeling that there's gonna be something truly terrifying behind it.
Oh, yes. That's the famous Tuspa special exhibit. It depicts one of England's most notorious killers. Do you want to pay the extra fee and have a look?
Pay more money? To be even more terrified? Let me think about that for a moment. No!
It was only a suggestion, Murnau.
It's a terrible suggestion, and you're terrible for even suggesting it. Okay.
Creepy crawlers. Oh, the lady. If you put...
I think it's gonna be the same dialogue.
Oh,
No, it's
We've
all
already
caught
done
up
that.
now.
So creepy.
Yeah, okay, so we'll go back and talk to the Mademoiselle.
Madame.
The stolen waxwork. Tell us more about the stolen waxwork, if you please.
It was some days ago now, when I came in here one morning. I immediately noticed that the waxwork was missing from this special exhibit here. It is your most prominent display. So why the curtains were closed then? And I found the ransom note in its place.
The culprit must have broken in during the night and taken it then, huh?
So, this waxwork that was stolen, it was a model of some horrible criminal, I suppose. Of a particular horrible criminal, in fact. The killer who left a more profound scar on society than any would, I would say. The Professor.
Not a name I've heard of, actually.
Maybe Professor Moriarty?
Oh my gosh! So, Mr. Naruhodo, it seems the circle is complete. Sorry? Professor Moriarty. I think that's, yeah.
The Professor case happened at around the same time I was born, didn't it?
Indeed it did, Iris. 10 years ago, a series of murders that rocked the capital. 10 years ago? Yes. Exactly the time that Baron von Zieks graduated from university, in fact. What? Surely he's not saying...
Oh, so the big event that changed Mr. Ripper's life?
Correct. As you've surmised, it was the Professor's case. Who was this Professor, then? The Professor.
It was a series of gruesome murders that all had all of the London gripped in a terror a decade ago. After 5 victims were killed, the man was arrested and put to death.
And now he's immortalized here in the Wax Museum for all Londoners to admire and enjoy. Though, of course, he happens to be absent at present on the account of the abduction. But I don't understand. How is all this related to Lord Van Zieks? You must first understand, my dear fellow, why is it that the Professor earned such infamy? It was due to the victims he chose, some of the Whitehall's finest.
Oh, what do you mean, Harley?
Well, those murdered by the Professor were some of the highest members of the British... Oh, wow. Royalty.
Oh, wow.
Members of the nobility, even royalty. It sent shockwaves through the country's administration. Members of the... Wait, what? Of course! What Professor Hairbrain said. Lord Van Zieks is from a family with noble blood.
Oh, gosh!
Yes, it was the 5th victim that led to the Professor's arrest. The last of the killer's prey was a young noble by the name of... Clint Van Zieks. No! I don't believe it! Van Zieks?
His father died.
Brother.
Oh.
I'm sure you can piece together the rest for yourself. In the wake of his older brother's murder, the young Baron pursued a career as a prosecutor, and eventually became the Reaper we know today.
His brother was murdered.
His brother was a prosecutor, I bet. Just like a case of the Ace Attorney games where there was a prosecutor that was killed and then somebody took their place.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I've noticed that the Great Ace Attorney games, the reason why they're so good is they borrow some of the best elements from the original Ace Attorney series. They just change it a little bit. So some of the more interesting cases, they're kind of retold in a way that's new, but in the same way it has that familiar essence to it. And I think that's why this is so popular in Japan. And I have a feeling that in 2022 or 2023, we're going to get the Great Ace Attorney 3. I really feel it's going to happen. And this time, it will be international. It won't be just only in Japan, because they release the collection. Usually when Capcom releases collections, it means another game is coming.
Oh, wow.
Especially when they make it international. That's my hypothesis. All right. I have no idea Lord Van Zieks had such a tragic past. Well, I'm afraid that's all I can say on the matter, for the time being at least. After all, I have work to do. As a wax figure exhibit. Okay. Very interesting.
I am afraid I shall have to excuse myself as well.
Oh yes, of course, madam. It's been a pleasure. Thank you. So she's not going to get arrested for knocking that person out.
Well, he was trying to steal from her. I don't
Yeah. Well, none of the predicted scenarios I've been analyzing involve the coming to visit me here, so... It's been quite a while, has it not? I am delighted to see you, Barak. Yes, it's been 10 years, and here we are, meeting in a prison of all places. I can't forgive myself for what happened to Mr. Assman. I just can't. Oh, I still can't believe it could happen. Tomorrow, the court will decide. Yes. I have young Eastern man acting for my defense. He seems reliable enough, though. It is an accident, a terrible accident. He assures me he can prove it. I must warn you. Oh, my gosh. Oh, I know, I heard already. You're going to be prosecuting, aren't you?
You're talking to yourself.
Yes. Since I returned to England, I have heard lots of stories. They say that you are really... What? Never mind. Hahaha. I know exactly. You have the best intentions at heart. My friend is on trial. I wouldn't entrust it to anybody else. Of course. I fully understand what you are saying. Thank you, Barak. Barak? Until tomorrow, then. I will see you in court. Okay, then. To be continued. Perfect. I'm getting lightheaded, so that's enough voiceover for me today. With this.
That was fun. I liked being Madame Tussle or whatever her name was. Tewsbury. I forgot what her name was, but...
Tuspels.
Tuspels.
She's supposed to be like a witch, but yeah.
Or either that or she cosplays one, or maybe she is one. She probably is one.
I mean, she might be cosplaying for her exhibit. I'm not really sure.
To make her look more scary for her exhibit.
Yeah.
I could be wrong, though. She might be a real witch, or she might be into that stuff, since her family seems a little creepy, since they made wax figures of guillotine people. You'd have to be a little creepy to do that.
You'd have to be a little, yeah. So, we're gonna finish up the stuff leading into the court, guys, and then, yeah, we'll be doing the trial tomorrow. The 23rd of October, 8:52 a.m., the Old Bailey Defendant's Antechamber. I can't believe it's been 6 months since I was last allowed to work in the court. And now here I am, back at the Old Bailey. Oh, Mr. Naruhodo. Good morning, Professor Hairbrain. I don't understand. It doesn't make any sense. The atmospheric pressure in here is off the charts. I've never felt anything like it. It is crushing me. I feel it every time I'm here, too. That gravity... Well, this is Britain's highest court, yeah. But are you telling me it's fitted with some kind of device that can actually control air pressure? No, I think it's probably all in your mind.
It just feels like that.
Yes, well, you won't let me down, will you, Mr. Naruhodo? I'm counting on you in today's trial. To save my life! To save the secret of the super high voltage instantaneous kinesis machine from being made public. Yeah, I understand that. I know what I have to do here. I have to establish that the explosion 2 days ago was nothing more than an unfortunate accident. Or it was tampered with. Well, I'm sure there's nothing to worry about, really. Justice will prevail, yeah? I don't know who this is.
I don't know what it is.
You do it.
My commiserations, Mr. Naruhodo. You appear to have been lumbered with the most tiresome case here.
Oh, blast.
It's Sholmes.
Sholmes? I didn't expect to see you here.
Oh, this was very mean, Bruno, leaving me alone at home with Harley. It took me at least an hour to wake him up.
Is it? Are you Herlock Sholmes? Herlock? Indeed, sir, I am he. Herlock Sholmes. Oh, I've heard all about your exploits, even whilst living in Germany.
Oh yes, Ron's magazine is on sale in Germany too.
This month's installment was sublime. Your deduction in the adventures of the Silver Blaze was wonderful. Ah, yes, a memorable case indeed. It concerned a snake, I seem to recall.
No! That was a speckled bird, early.
Ah, well. Thank you for coming, you guys. I do appreciate your support. Well, I'm sorry to disappoint you, my dear fellow, but I'm afraid I can't stay. Oh? I have urgent business at Madame Tuspel's. You mean your wax job? No, the WaxWork abduction, of course. Madame has engaged my services. Ah, so you're trying to get to the bottom of that ransom note, are you?
He's trying to make money, I think.
The week's wages depend on it, as does the safe return of the wax figure, naturally. As such, I intend to give it my undivided attention. Oh, well, never mind then. I understand. Of course, with my skills of observation and reasoning, resolving the matter will be easy as an proverbial pie. I shall return forthwith. For until I solve the case, I shall have no money to afford a pie of any description.
Oh, then you must absolutely give it your full attention, Harley.
Quite, Iris, quite. But life is riddled with irony, you know. Whenever I give something my full attention, I have a quite insatiable desire for pie. One of the universe's intraceable mysteries, you might say. No, I want pie. Ah, yes, quite definitely, absolutely. I can totally understand. Is someone a little starstruck? I wish you the very best, Professor Hairbrain. Thank you very much. Very kind. Before I depart, Mr. Naruhodo, a word in your ear, if you please. Huh? Well, what's this about? Well, as you have remarkably little grounding in science, I feel I ought to inform you. As compelling as this super high-tech instantaneous kinesis hypothesis may be, a practical implantation such as the attempted by the professor at the Great Exhibit is quite impossible. But the professor said the demonstration was a success. Yes, it would appear that he fervently believes it was.
But it's impossible.
I've read Professor Bunnybrain's paper about it too, Runo, and I have to say, I'm sure that this cannot be done. It could barely be done theoretically, let alone practically.
So they're saying it's scientifically impossible.
So he's completely barking up the wrong tree.
He thinks he could have done it, but it's impossible.
But how could an experiment that had no possibility of succeeding, in fact, succeed? That's a contradiction. And if it's that contradiction that will be at the heart of the trial, I have no doubt. What's that supposed to mean? Now I must hurry along to my job. I wish you the very best of luck, my dear fellow.
See you later, Holly.
Very well. Off I go then.
Well, it looks like you're on your own today, Bruno. But chin up, you can do it.
Oh, what about you, Iris?
Oh no, I'm afraid I can't help today. I have something I have to do.
I see.
It's going to be a big surprise for you when you find out what it is.
Ha ha! That sounds ominous too.
Oh no!
Counsel of the defense and the defendant. Court is about to begin in session. Make your way into the courtroom at once, please.
We're on our way, bobbies, sirs,
oh, no.
peoples.
He's gonna be on his own. Are we starting the next trial, honey?
No. An experiment that the laws of science say can't possibly succeed, eh? And a scientist who's convinced that it did. That's the riddle you have to unlock here, Ryunosuke. That's the key to this case. Oh wait, I'm going in by myself.
Dun.
Uh-oh. This is gonna be badly.
Iris will not be here to help you now.
Well, it's gonna be all me talking to myself.
23rd of October, 9:10 a.m.
The Old Bailey courtroom. Yep. Wow.
Good luck, Ryunosuke.
In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare this court to be in session.
And we have to save.
We're gonna save once they get to the witness testimony.
Okay.
We're sitting here today for the public trial of Professor Albert Hairbrain Schemes. I now call upon the counsels for the prosecution and the defense to declare their willingness to proceed. The prosecution is ready, Your Honor.
The defense is ready, my lord. I think. I'm 6 months out of practice, and what's more, I'm without Susie today too. Is it just my imagination, or does the air in here feel even more oppressive than usual?
So, I must say I recollect the victim of this case all too well, Mr. Odious. Mr. Asman is a well-known financier, though that was merely a front for his diverse criminal activities. Yes, it was only a month ago that the man appeared in court prosecuted by you, Lord Van Zeeks. But the jury was unanimous, found him not guilty.
Because every member of the jury had been bribed by the sound of it. These powerful London criminals are prepared to go to extreme lengths to keep their freedom, it seems.
But just 2 days ago, on the 21st of October, Mr. Asman met his end. The work of the Reaper, was it?
I don't know, I was not around.
If that is how your lordship would describe divine retribution, then yes. But the fact remains that Mr. Osmond's death was a direct result of the actions of the accused, Professor Hairbrain. Very well, then. Now, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you have been selected at random to represent the will of the people. Are the 6 of you ready to fulfill your societal duties? I'm most gratified to have been selected to carry out this important civic duty, my lord.
To have a man's fate in the palm of one's hand. Oh gosh, oh golly, it sends shivers down my spine.
Science experiments, magic conjuring tricks, courtroom trials are all nothing more than performances. It's an old man, you go for it.
I don't know. Any spurless scholar that defies the reputation of science deserves to hang. We have to listen to what's being said on both sides. The fence and settle on one, that's it.
That looks like a child.
A Bobby as a juror?
Wasn't like this in my day. Wasn't like this at all. Oh.
He has a gun in the
he has a
courtroom.
gun in the courtroom. That's the police killer Automole lookalike again? And he's exhausted as ever, it seems.
Alright then, now, as I'm sure you're all aware, the incident we are here to judge today tragically took place at the Great Exhibition shortly after its opening. Yes, though the death toll could have been far worse, with the exception of the victim, no one was killed. Which is odd considering the explosion. Nevertheless, the dream of science being exhibited rapidly turned into a nightmare for the spectators. A tragic turn of events, and as such the eyes of all London, no, the world, lies on this trial. It's a duty to reach a swift and just conclusion, I feel. Alright then. So, your opening statement, please, Lord Van Zeeks. Yes, Your Honor, I shall do the... Yes, at the heart of this incident is the technology never before demonstrated anywhere in the world. One of science's latest developments, I take it. The government is keen to capitalize on the Great Exhibition to improve Britain's technological advantages. Blah. The technology being demonstrated by the accused was described as a super high voltage device. I'm not saying all those words. Good lord, man. Let's just call it a doohickey then.
I like that idea. This doohickey is designed to disassemble human subjects using highly voltage electricity and beam them instantly to another location where they're subsequently reassembled.
Is there such a thing even within the realms of possibility? Well, I don't believe it, that's for sure.
Oh, disabling people with electricity! My goodness, how shocking! The whole idea is absurd. The hypothesis would never stand up to scrutiny.
Sir, I believe you are a fellow Royal Society member. Are you not an expert in your field?
I am. My words on the matter can only be considered final. Instantaneous kinesis is poppycock. There. My old
So
man.
this expert and Mr. Sholmes are in agreement. It's impossible.
What is your prosecution's view on the matter? I want to drink some... Never mind. Prosecution would assert that the accused's instantaneous doohickey device was a success. What?
What a rot.
What a rot. Yeah.
Order! The Professor's hypothesis is currently under investigation by the British government. If it is deemed to have merit, a substantial research grant would be made available. The accused made use of the invention built on this new hypothesis to take Mr. Asmon's life, in order to be the sole benefactor of the grant.
But... what?
This disastrous demonstration was no accident. Probably. It was carefully designed from the outset to end the life of the victim.
He's your friend, dude. That doesn't seem very nice.
Thank you, Lord Dracula. The prosecution's stance is quite clear. You have no friends. But you will now bring forth the witness to substantiate your claims. I will do just that, gladly, my lord. Bailiff, show the first witness to the stand.
Please be a woman, please be a woman, please be a woman, please be a woman.
Nope.
It's the accused and Greg.
Witnesses, state your names and occupations for the court. Yes, sir. Tobias Gregson, Detective Inspector at Scotland Yard, Homicide Division. It was on duty at the demonstration on the day in question in charge of the following investigation.
I can be German guy if you want.
I'm good.
Hello. Albert Hairbrains, scientists. Yes, you were born in England, but have been carrying out research in Germany in recent years, correct? Yes, that's right. That is what I've been up to. After graduating from the university here in Britain, I went to work in Germany and made an amazing discovery, which is what brought me back to demonstrate my incredible hypothesis at the great exhibit. What you demonstrated was incredible, all right. An incredible explosion. But the science was a success. The instantaneous doohickey worked. Everyone saw it. They must have done. Yes, there must have been a terrible accident, but the demonstration, my hypothesis was correct. Well, that much is undeniable, as shown in this photograph taken by the forensic investigation team.
Oh my gosh.
This was taken inside the Crystal Tower, I take it, the centerpiece of the exhibit, no less. That's right, my lord. Seems the victim rammed straight into it.
Didn't we say we were gonna stop when we got to the testimony?
Once the witness testimony starts. It hasn't. Usually it pops up and it says the witness testimony.
Okay.
This will make the stream even longer tomorrow, and we're almost at the 150 mark. So.
Okay.
I seem the very suitable for the photograph as you'll submit it. There we go. Sorry, got a little tongue-tied there. As the court heard, the victim of the incident was Mr. Asman, whatever. There have been a number of allegations made against the man, but putting that aside for the time being, he was the man who financed the research for this experiment and the demonstration itself. I see. So to surmise the situation, the defendant is accused of taking the life of the man who funded his work. Would that be correct? Yes, exactly, sir.
But couldn't it be, that the explosion was caused by some malfunction in the apparatus used for the demonstration?
That's right! That must be it! My splendid machine! My poor splendid machine was tampered with! You saw it yesterday, didn't you? We can't even examine the wreckage thanks to those special dispensation scientific folks! What? The wreckage! That being the case, how can the facts be established? How can it possibly be determined whether this was an accident or deliberate and malicious acts?
Extremely simply, my lord.
I beg your pardon?
Whoops. Isn't that right, witness?
What? Sorry, me?
No, your neighbor.
Yes, sir, it was murder, plain and simple. Anyone could state with complete certainty.
What? How can you possibly think that?
All right then, thank you, Inspector. I think we'll be better proceed to a formal testimony now. You will explain to the court what grounds you claim this experiment to have been in the front of a matter.
Dun dun. There we go. Witness testimony. Affront for murder. And that's the title for tomorrow's episode, too. Convenient, right? Yes, it is.
Very convenient.
A front for murder.
What's our next stream, Luke?
Fire Emblem.
Oh, okay.
Yep. For Ruga. Because Ruga's been waiting a long time. And that will be happening around 7:15, 7:30. After I've had a chance to eat some dinner. Alright, so anyway, guys and gals, that does it for the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles, brought to you by Capcom. Hello, Zelda. How you doing? The next stream will be Fire Emblem Ruga. So we hope you guys will look forward to that. Fire Emblem Lyn on the Wii U, which is a system that hasn't been hooked up for some time.
Yep, don't forget to comment after the video goes public. That will help us be seen in the search engine. Thanks for reminding us, Simons, and please like and subscribe. Don't forget to sign up for our newsletter, and special thanks again to Capcom for providing a copy of this game. Thanks, Capcom, and thank you guys all for watching today.
Alright, so anyway, guys and gals, we'll see you later with Fire Emblem, and then I have another stream, which will be happening around 9 o'clock for the Marvelous Marvel game. So hope you guys will look forward to that. And as always, smash that like button. Let's see this video get over to 100 likes, all that good stuff. Zelda, stop climbing all over me. Alright, guys, see you later.
God bless, happy gaming. See you.